I would reiterate, this is, in my lifetime of 59 years, this is the most important election. And, you know, Carter gave us Reagan. But when Carter gave us Reagan, we had malaise, we had problems, but we still had the basic underpinnings of the United States manufacturing base, agricultural base, and freedoms. And small businesses were king and queen. We still had that, but we had some tough times. We didn't have the global competition that we have now. And we didn't have the deconstruction of the base of the United States. So this is an unbelievably important election. For the American people to stand up and say, this far, no farther. And we want to go back to the trail that leads to success. And that's the Constitution. And that's limited government. And I agree with you. But it starts on August 3rd with my primary. It really does. And it starts by saying we like other candidates, but we don't want to take a chance in this type of environment, this tenuous circumstance we're in right now, on untried, unproven. Let someone go back who has the track record and who we can count on. And go back as a second termer as opposed to another freshman starting all over again. Yes?
I'm sure I know your opinion on this, but I wanted to ask you about the misinterpretation or misunderstanding of what Jefferson said when he talked about the wall separating church and state.
Yeah.
And that has gone so far as to take us Christians and pretty much give us less values than those that aren't. And even my very liberal brother, he's an Ann Arbor, he's a social worker, very liberal person, but he agrees with me that if in schools, instead of totally ignoring religion, if you had classes in, say, elementary, middle, and senior public schools and private schools, that taught the kids about all religions, including atheism, and discussed them as an open topic, that should still agree with the Supreme Court's decision, because then you're not siding, you're not taking a stand, but you're educating people. And the more you educate people in anything, the more you get rid of prejudices. And I think that's worth considering.
Well, Jefferson, writing to a group of ministers, talked about that wall of separation. But even Jefferson understood, if you went into other writings, and even that writing, that was a wall of separation in the favor of religion. That the state should not insert itself into religion. And that religion should not insert itself into pushing for a national religion. But it should always be there. As Washington said, a nation that will not govern itself in the principles of God will not survive. And that our Constitution is wholly unsuitable for a nation that will not be governed by God. That, I think, is the genius of the plurality of this country, but also the religious liberty that we've had up until recent history. I would prefer, as opposed to having our public school teachers or employees teaching a wide view of religion, I prefer going back to a tried and true methods that was used normally in schools of release time classes, of allowing all sorts of religions to say, parents, we're going to offer this hour period of time on school time, either on property or off property, for your kids to come under our program. Sign a release form and they can come. It worked very well, whether it was an Onstead school district that my kids were in, or up here maybe in Eaton Rapids. But more importantly, let's not make religion to appear as separate from society, but in fact, the underpinnings of our society. And I was asked, all three of us were asked a question last night about should we allow, and it was a very, very strange, I'll get to you, I don't want your arm to go to sleep there. But should we allow this very strange, new age philosophy to be to be taught in a classroom. And my two opponents said no. And I said, I don't care as long as we have full choice in education. So if I don't want my kids to be taught that, I can pull them to a school of my own choice. I'd rather go that route and allow the freedom here, yes, but the choice ultimately go back to the parents.